Oh, I didn't see you there. I was just hanging out reading the backer draft manuscript copy of Story Path Ultra here in a very fake way so as to show off that it's out right now and the manuscript is technically. If you want to check out Story Path Ultra, you can check out the you can check out the backer kit right now. Hi, Chandra Magic. Love to see you in the chat as always. I'm just I'm really excited. I'm today. I think if any of you have been backing Story Path Ultra today, now's the time to do it. Uh, we haven't seen the stretch goals yet, but I'm excited. I'm really pumped to see what they will end up being. And if I type this in correctly, it will go SPUB key. SPUB key. And okay. There we go. That was the main thing I needed to plug today. As far as the At the Gates go, I do have the At the Gates compiled manuscript here as well. If you haven't backed that, I think you might be able to pick it up through Onyx Path's release current projects thing. There's always there's a post that they do. I think it's every Wednesday that talks about the releases that they're doing every week, and that usually has the most up to date information on where you can get stuff. So if you're looking for specifically like at the gates or any of the other stuff, they'll have like you can get a PDF copy or something. Double checking here. No, I don't. Maybe I'll need to look into it next time I'm on stream. In any case, thank you for joining me. And oh, I think my stream just paused for a second. I'm double checking that I'm still working. Yeah, I'm still working. Anyway, where did we leave off with At the Gates? If I look back at my notes, we have here a campaign diary. I sort of stole a little bit from Chris Perkins. He did a thing when D&D 4th edition was switching over to 5e where he talked about his special campaign event, campaign diary format he did, where he does sort of like a brief timeline of events, the various people and factions. We do have a map here of At the Gates' continents or countries. That is something that Dee posted on the Discord. So if you're familiar with the Onyx Path Discord, you can check that out. Link in the chat. I always like being on there. We're talking a hell of a lot about Curseborn, At the Gates, and Story Path Ultra in general at this point. Honestly, I feel like so many people are talking about D&D 5th edition right now, or not 5th edition, D&D 2024, and I'm like, personal opinions aside on that, I feel like for me, Story Path, well, personal opinions to the forefront, I definitely feel like Story Path Ultra is a bigger deal than that, in my personal opinion. If you back the Kickstarter, you're basically or your crowdfunder, you basically get the manuscript up front, and you can make whatever you want with it until the full copy gets released later on. But it is technically a preview copy that you're getting. Like, I already have this little doohickey here, which I'll show occasionally, but I'm not going to be looking too much into it here. Because we have the At the Gates manuscript, which also has the Story Path Ultra rules. And we've been looking at the Story Path Ultra rules for quite a bit now. We've had The World Below. First they came from the RPG anthology, had the Story Path Ultra rules, and now we have with The World Below, At the Gates, and now Curseborn coming up in October. And if you're not interested in any of those because you can't purchase them right now, there is a release tomorrow for Path to Apotheosis for Scion 2E in the print on demand and PDF version, so you can check that out as well. I'll try to stop shilling. I've been shilling a lot. So the story for this campaign that we've got set up here is for a possible actual play I might do later on. There is an At the Gates actual play that's currently going on. If you can check that out, the schedule will say when it is. But what I've done specifically for this is I've set it up. My players are going to be in this one city, Alpidium, where there's essentially a group of mages who are trying to summon demons and things like that, even though the queen has banned it. Players go through a few encounters with a drunkard mage and a head drunker mage. Once they defeat the cell or join the cell, there's a lot of stuff that can happen in regards to summoning demons or having a demon being summoned. And then there is a prophecy that hints to 4 dragons, 4 dragon riders being necessary to stop the demonic war that is currently ravaging the land. Now, when the players go for their goal, they don't know that the dragons are the main thing that they're trying to recruit or get on their side. Instead, they are going to go to a temple in the Outlands to find a map that will locate where the dragons are. And once that is found, they will then be able to go and recruit the dragons. Now, we did do the Temple of the Dragons here. We did do Dragon of the Spring, which I have a lot of things written down here. Oh yeah, we have the Capernite Scout, the Capernite Mage, and then I gave the Ice Egros, which is a Flagros demon, but as ice. And I think we shall Isegros. Isegros would be the name, because Flagros is flame plus gross, I'm guessing, so Isegros is what we will go with for that. This was basically the subchapter 1. We're establishing the conflict in the setting. The players are going to go to Ordonia, which is this basically area of the map where the woodlands and the farms are blighted, and the Capernites are invading a place called the Arable Crown area, which is sort of like their version of, if you don't accept help, you're the type of person who needs a bunch of other help. No, you don't. If you don't accept help from us, you are not going to be someone who we will care about. We need to take this land from you because you can't control it. You don't have the might to control it. So the players will have to try and do their best to bring down these monsters. We do have a bit of the encounter set up here. The next subchapter is the actual conflict, which this will be our trying to find the dragon. Now, Spring Dragon, I'll go into the At the Gates compiled manuscript here. Spring Dragon. Nurturers, loving custodians, guardians, both fierce and kind, spring dragons embody life, rebirth. Wherever they tread, plants grow and bloom. Clean water comes forth from the soil while rejuvenating rains anoint the land. Animals find a safe haven from danger. Although people can find spring dragons to be the most approachable of their kind, they better not mistake their attitude for weakness. Spring dragons strive to safeguard life and prompt renewal. Anyone who dares to interfere soon discovers the floral dragons are terrible foes to provoke, capable of triggering deluges with a thought, and wield plants like an extension of themselves. Vinewet Bulbasaur. In any case, spring dragons are a beautiful sight to behold, flowers adorned from the head to the tip of their tail. It's unclear where their scales end and the feather-like foliage begins. So it doesn't go too much into where they are located. Now, because Ordonia is blighted, Spring Dragon would be perfect for trying to bring back the foliage and the agriculture. So if the players want to do that, I want to give that as an option to them. But I do want some conflict here. So we do know that Spring Dragon is going to be here. But what I'd also like to do, and I might have to adjust here. There we go. I was accidentally hiding my bullet point formatting stuff here. I want to make sure that we have some sort of enemy. And because we are in this area, I want to give us a daemon who's protecting this. Actually, I won't use that as a search engine. Luckily, one of my favorite things about these is that they actually give us bookmarks. So, Creatures of Gaia, daemons. So we have the various rules for running daemons. I want something a little bit bigger and tougher. I don't care too much about theme in this regard, though I would like something that can possibly bring down a dragon. Something like a little bit more powerful than the demons I've been throwing at the players already. This is sort of like the step up that the players need to sort of like realize that they're going against some tougher foes. Ooh, this is a deceptively cute creature. Agalumps. Agalumps as disasters wouldn't be an exaggeration. If anything, they proved a useful reminder that looks can be deceiving. They're strange hybrids of frogs and fish, no taller than an average person's knees, round, soft, and without any defining features other than their big eyes and luminescent lantern-like filament dangling over their heads. Agalumps don't look like much, they're almost cute in an ugly sort of way. Even a few pointed crooked teeth showing out of their mouth act more as a decoration than actual fangs. They have the ability to open said mouth wide to its fully uncanny extent and swallow an entire person, a demon 10 times their size, absorbing their features to fight against whoever dares underestimate them or hurt other demons. Weirdest demons ever called forth from the void, Agalumps are far more frightening than their deceptive appearance would suggest. Seemingly embodying primordial concepts such as hunger and consumption, they're also examples of extreme adaptability and care for those who can't defend themselves. Their diminutive size hides the fact that they are. And now I can't see the chat. Why is that? Anyway. They are dangers, ignore any law of reality, represent not to mention the innate strength and mutation power each Agalump presents. Other demons came to fear the Agalumps, for the little beasts are both near the top of the void's food chain and show a penchant for feeding on whoever threatens the creatures of the void. It doesn't seem like... Okay, so they are protect other demons from bigger creatures. So they'll protect other demons. I think Agalump is a perfect enemy for our players to go up against. It has all these different abilities. We do need a setting though. So the conflict is Agalump has eaten the spring dragon. Let's put a scene to this. So they are following the map at this point, so we have to think a little bit outside the box here. It would be a grove or forest, but because of the blight, this means that the forest area is probably a lot more damaged than we expect. Maybe it is... Can't be a forest fire. I think we can say that it is probably an oasis in the blight. But it also has an outland. So that means that the Agalump is going to have some backup. We did talk a little bit before about the creatures of Gaia and how outlands will create void warped creatures. We even have a warped puma. The plains of Ordonia have been home to the puma, over large carnivores built for stealth and speed. In recent memories, the Ordonians have domesticated this animal, keeping them as companions and pets and mounts. They're a national symbol of pride. The puma is protected and revered. Since the advent of the blight, we've seen a rise in Voitainen puma. These vile creatures are twisted versions of the noble animal, with eyes glowing indigo and violet scales rippling along their backs. Most Ordonia pumas are domesticated, blah blah blah, da 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 da. Where these animals enter the void, they become extremely dangerous and should be approached with caution. They become extremely territorial. So these creatures might be a danger to the Agalump, or maybe they could be like the Agalump's bodyguards. I think the Agalump might have charmed these creatures. I feel like the Agalump doesn't really have a personality to it, but I might try and impart one onto it. So first up, I'm taking my character sheet here that I created before. This is the type of character sheet you will see in StoryPath Ultra. And by that, I mean, like, it's my version of what you would see. So change this to the Void Warp Puma. Copy some stats. And I'm out. I have now banned this person. It's always bad when you see people who are spamming chat. Any case, you might not see them, but I do. Okay, so we have a primary of 10, a secondary of 8, and a desperation, I believe, of 5. Yeah. I wonder if this is the same type of stuff in StoryPath Ultra. Core system antagonists. Yeah, we got similar stuff here. The guidelines for creating a character. That's cool. Just a little teaser in there. Don't worry about it. In any case, so we have a defense of 1, an integrity of 1, +1 to hiding. Put those in there. Injuries 4. So injuries is fun. I was playing Curseborn Ashcan, which I'll put a link in it at the end of the chat probably. But basically, when I played the Curseborn Ashcan, I found that basically 1 injury is pretty easy to do, but 2 injuries you can do, like, if you're focused on combat, you can do 2 injuries pretty frequently, or at least like 1 injury and maybe a status condition if you're using the stunts. But my players, when they were going up against stuff, I like throwing the little tiny things with 1 injury at them, because it made them feel powerful. These things definitely not going to make my players feel powerful, but they are going to be a little bit of a challenge. And that's something that Dee mentioned when I talked to them about stuff, was that you had this situation where the players putting complications on the players is a good idea, because when you put complications on players, it starts using up their resources a little bit, and as a GM, you shouldn't be afraid to get them to use their resources. Yes, you want the game to be fun for them, but also you want it to be a bit of a challenge. You don't want things to be trivialized. So just having a little bit around to, like, toss out these varieties of, like, complications to the players is a good idea to sort of keep them on their toes. You have complications like Frightening Presence. These are qualities, by the way, but Frightening Presence, I believe, like gives you a status effect if you don't buy off the moderate complication it puts out. It was something I had just started to learn when I started playing. At the Gates, the Ashcan version. But now I feel like I got a better idea of it. We'll see. I'm getting used to the game, and it's not like some games will try to have like a semblance of balance, but really creating your own encounters is really just a uh, throwing crap at a fan and seeing if it lands properly. um, you don't want your players to feel underpowered, and you don't want them to feel like too overpowered, if that makes sense. Basic D&D or basic role-playing game 101. When a game doesn't have a monster manual or like encounter design rules, you sort of are given a paintbrush that you can do whatever you want with. And some people get overwhelmed by that. I don't find it too overwhelming. In fact, I really love it. Ooh, phasing. Let's check out Leap. It's some movement stuff. We have they have the frightening presence thing. I want to see. So we have the different attack stuff. They don't have. They have something called Drain. They have Leap, Sundering, Impulse, and Unsettle. So let's double check here. These are arts. So Sundering Impulse. The antagonist releases a disruptive manifestation of their power that breaks their opponent's equipment, like a destructive burst of freezing cold or vicious curse. This power takes on the shape of a ranged attack that hits up to short range and does the Sundering trick, applies the effects of the Sunder trick onto attacker. Okay, that's cool. We have we have the Leap, which is they can sort of like jump impressively to ranged mans to attack. So if this happens as a result of a ranged attack, okay, so they can do a ranged attack to grab into someone. Double checking the other stuff here. Could have sworn. So Unsettle. Where's Unsettle? With a reflexive action, the antagonist unnerves a person with its presence. Uh, rolls its dice pool against a target's integrity. On a success, the target gains the terrified status effect. Ooh. If it's a Archon, it becomes a major complication. Okay. So that's something I could do. I could unsettle someone from range. It says unsettle too. I wonder if that. Oh, it means I can use it twice. There's some limitations on the spells. I forgot that. A drain. Antagonist steals the life force of the opponent. Deal 1 damage for each point of complication the character fails to buy off when resisting this attack. Or art. The antagonist gains a +1 enhancement that stacks on the next action it takes against the character. Okay. That's a good one. And just checking my levels again because I am a silly Billy. So I'm going to delete those rows here. I do want to see what phase does. Phase. Choose a target within short range to make incorporeal for the rest of the scene. The target can pass through solid objects and cannot be injured or hurt by anything physical or corporeal. Those spells can still affect him. He is still visible, but with a faint aura around him. Oh, this is perfect. Okay. So this is a good... What is this? This is a magic? Yeah. Good to have. So I'm actually going to write here something that I miss from D&D 4th edition, which is combat tactics. I gave it a header by accident. You are normal text, good sir. So what I'll say is stealth. Sorry. What I'll say is sneak for a certain amount of time. Break sneak with the unsettle art to set up attacks. Use phase magic to protect the Allegro Agalum. These creatures probably have some sort of mesmerism done to them by the Agalum. If not, it's my story. You come to this beautiful grove in the middle of the blighted landscape. In the middle is a little ball of roses and cherry blossoms or something that is got this big cavernous maw as it starts eating like little like giant like coconuts or something from the trees. And well, it wouldn't be coconuts, but you get the idea, right? In any case, we would continue on here. Agalum. Am I spelling Agalum wrong? Okay, I guess I'll go back to the demons section. I read it out loud, so I know it's real. There we go. So we've got the Agalump has the drives to eat, snooze, do a lot of things, combat, eat, snooze, do a lot of other things. So its stats are actually pretty close to the Void Panther. Difference being is that the Agalump has probably a lot more abilities. So double checking to make sure that the stats are identical. Injury 8. So these things, the Agalump is a lot more durable. I think it also has a defense of 2. Its enhancement is +1/+1, but that's fine. Initiative 5. I don't think I need soul written down here for these, but that is the halfway mark on the stream. In any case, that's it for that. And then we have these qualities here, which I'm just going to copy and paste them. See if it allows me to copy and paste them properly. It does not, but I can just do that. So it's got the malleable quality. It's got natural weapons, which is probably its jaw. So we just put one there. We got regenerate, reset, and then we've got 3 more qualities. Insert below. Slippery, willful, unusual anatomy. So I really want to see what this reset is, because reset seems like it might be something that I need to worry about. Once the injuries reach half or of their total or below for the first time in a scene, resolve all combat status effects. Okay, so this is a refresher of it completely. Slippery. Establishing a grapple or the overwhelm trick costs an additional hit against them. Awesome. Let's look at malleable. Come on, where's malleable? There we go. They can squeeze through things. Okay, that's fine. It's not too potent. Frightening presence. Oh, this is what I wanted to talk about. So the Pumas have frightening presence, which gives them a +1 social advantage to intimidate people. Case. Let's go with the arts, shall we? Aglumps. Okay, so I added an O. That's why it was spelled wrong. This is gonna have a lot of stuff. Oh, it has special abilities on top of everything else. Okay. For the arts, we have defensive aura, Devour 3. I've used Devour actually with Curseborn. So that one, uh, it will heal itself. It will sort of like put you into a difficult location, I think. Maybe it wasn't Curseborn with Devour. Like maybe it's a different type of thing because they have like different qualities and spells and things, but and they're not all one-to-one across, but it does seem a bit familiar. So 3 rows below. Fix the formatting. Explosive. Great, this thing's gonna explode when people get too close. Leap. 4. Full tongue. 4. Magic wise. They have Valor. Now, if this wasn't a demon, that would, or if this wasn't like a boss monster, let's face it, it's more like it's a boss monster, that would have been it. But now we have actually extra stuff to throw in here. Because not only are the Agalumps demons, they have a special ability that they get to use for being able to eat their foes. So they have the Gluttonous Abyss, which basically means that they can devour bigger creatures. And then the other thing is that they can special ability, I guess we'll call this. They have this other thing where they can absorb power art. So it can copy 3 abilities. I'll fix the formatting here, but copy. One of their qualities are its advantages of any creature that are currently subject to their Devour art, losing access to it at the end of the scene. So I want to have some of these abilities marked out for the Spring Dragon. Growth, heal, alter environment over growth is a good one to have, I think, because that at least makes it so that we can make it so that the Agalump is at least like, I don't know, got some plant-based powers. Technically, we could give it immunities, but I feel like immunities might be a little bit too overpowered against the players early on. Oh, there we go, the poison tag. So attacks benefit from the poison tag. And then lastly, what's a good one? So we have the altered overgrowth environment. Growth heal. Let's check out what the magic of growth is, because I don't feel like we should have healing, because healing feels a little bit more like difficult for the players. There we go. Designate an area at medium range to apply the overgrowth area effects that stand out. Okay, so this is another plant-based one. We can that's a good one. Healing always sometimes like turns into this thing where you're having like an arms race with your players, where it's like, oh yeah, they're suddenly, I guess, the monster just healed all of its life points, and now we have to go through 30 minutes of you bashing your swords against it. Okay, combat tactics. Specifically for this one, it's going to drop growth to protect the area around it. Alter environment overgrowth. This already says overgrowth. Alter environment. Oh, you can create communalative, whatever. You could do more stuff if you use the alter environment stuff on an existing environmental condition. So it's something like, oh, suddenly the plants go from being like just roots to thorns that pose a deadly threat, or anything of that nature. Well, thank you all for sticking around through my planning. I do like how this. I do like how things have been going with Storypath Ultra, and I am excited that more people are going to be involved in it. Right now, actually, I just wanted to look at it because it is already doubly funded with 445 backers. So that is crazy. And it still has an entire month left to go. It's going to end September 6th. Hope that means if it ends September 6th, that might mean that either October 1st or October 8th is when the Curseborn Kickstarter comes out. Fingers crossed. Anyway. So it's going to drop the overgrowth initially. It is going to pull people into it with the tongue. And then it's going to devour people. So we've sort of gotten that done. We've got the Capra Knights around. We've got the conflict set up here. It's an outland, so this Oasis of Blight is sort of like a dark representation of a glade with thorns and crooked trees jutting out. I'm always bad with the words in planning stage, but I do better later on. So we have the subchapter of the reward / downtime. Spring Dragon is freed. Now, I will allow my players to try and convince the Aglump to let the dragon out, but it requires a lot of actual negotiating. I don't think my players are going to be in a situation where they would want to fight an Agalump and the Pumas, but I think the Pumas might attack on their own and the Agalump might assist, but that's if they're really lucky. In any case, at the end, the Spring Dragon is freed either through negotiation or combat, and the Spring Dragon is essentially going to become part of the party as a summonable creature. This is not in the rules. I just like the idea of having summons in Final Fantasy type games. So we have some summonable via daemon rules. Uses attacks. Stat block for 1 turn. I need to give the Spring Dragon a name. Petunia. Petunia the Spring Dragon, who is also they, them. Guardian of the Forest. And will obviously, because this is in Ordonia, there is a lot of blight happening, which means that having the Spring Dragon out and about will allow us to have essentially the players deal with the blight, because Spring Dragon can easily just drop some stuff to fix the trees and things of that nature. Now, if I look here, so chapter 3 is the Dragon of Spring. Next episode is going to be the chapter of Summer. Additionally, there's other stuff players can do here. Maybe we should have a subchapter for side missions. Side missions can be stuff like, for instance, Capper Knight negotiating with Ordonia. Additionally, we have the whole dealing with the blight. And if I were running this for my players, I would also make sure that they have side plots going on with the other characters in their regard. Mostly it would be somewhere along the lines of having them deal with their personal backgrounds. So like having them deal with mentors or people who are friends. I do feel like there should be a little bit more of a spoiler here from the drunken mages that we had over in Calpidium. So maybe I'll put the Mageocracy is currently is also investigating the God, why am I blanking on the name again? Aglump. I'm really excited. I like this. Maybe I'll throw in some extra equipment too. Maybe there's some interesting equipment we can build for our players here that can toss in here. So Ordonia might have some more swords or scythes or sickles, things of that nature, because they're kind of like your classic fantasy game. Example items. So we've got. Oh, they actually do have some stuff here for different areas. So brass knuckles are concealable worn thing. That's fine. We have daggers, gold dusters. Ooh, cool. For Tremarian glass daggers. Ooh, that's awesome. But that's for Tremarian. Capper Knight. Ooh, the Fallen Star Sickle, enchanted. Forged in the famous Capper Knight Forge, this blade is extremely sturdy. Let's take a Fallen. Let's take that. Yoink. Putting that in my. Putting that in my. Let's have a section for rewards. Oh, we do have one. Let's put that in equipment, maybe. There's some stuff that you can't plan for. Like, you don't know what arguments your players are going to make for, like, dealing with the Capper Knights. Maybe they're able to negotiate peacefully, but instead make it something of a, like, the players are negotiating and they decide, instead of having it be an actual, like, war, it's a duel or something of the sort. I added the Capper Knight hammer, which is a mundane thing, so maybe that'll be more common. They can just pick it up if they wish. Uh, there's some Ordonia. There has to be some Ordonia stuff. Oh, Ulver's Greatsword. This unwieldy blade is rumored to have belonged to one of the first nomads in Ordonia. Okay. Okay. If I go here to the example weapons, I click, I use a control F, I can look up Ordone. I I spelled Ordonia wrong. There's some egg on my face. If I go to chapter 1 here, there's probably a Ordonia I can copy. Yeah, there. Ordonian. I forgot the Y, that's why. Go to the equipment section again. Click here. It's starting from the top anyway, so I have to do it backwards. Okay, so Ordonian pumas are mundane companions. I like that. It reminds me kind of like a what the chocobo. Ordonia plate, mundane metal, covers the whole body. Put that in there. It's not likely the players will see it because it seems like I would say it's more like something you can get in the city, but maybe the militia is around because there are Capper Knights. Okay. Ordonian dueling foil. This one definitely is in the festival at some point. Catch the Olympics. They had the foils. Well, foil me once, shame on me. Foil me twice, shame on you. Social Code Minor. From the Congress chambers in Ordonia to a somber Capper Knight duel, characters in the scene are expected to behave certain ways. Oh, this is actually a good thing. So social code is a minor complication that we can put into the festival. because the players aren't Ordonian, they might make some mistakes when talking to people. So put that as complication. Social code minor. That's something I should look at more, is the complications. So we have overgrowth, which is already sort of a complication. We have outland is a minor, major. Oh, outland. That gonna need that for the blighted area for the final combat in this section. Do I make it a moderate one? Moderate. Do not be. Well, actually, you should be a little cherishable to your players, but like, you can always dial stuff back and down. Dialing stuff up can be done as well, but sometimes it feels like a gut pull. Like, I guess you have to gauge it yourself, because do you want it to feel like your players are overcoming your challenges legitimately, or that you're pulling your punches to make them feel better about themselves? You want them to feel challenged. And there should always be a situation where the players get defeated, but can still carry forth with the plan. For instance, for me, with this Agalump, if my players all get devoured by the Agalump, they are going to be inside of it, which means they can start attacking it from the inside if they want. Now, why didn't the dragon do that? Well, maybe there's something more inside that's restraining it for the moment. But I think it might be like, if all the players get eaten or something like that, maybe we turn it into a an escape, a prison escape from the Agalump's stomach. Just kind of Agalump. Keep saying it wrong because I spelled it wrong this one time. In any case, you can do something like that, make things interesting. Next week, we will be covering the Dragon of Summer. More Stereopath Ultra stuff is going to be coming down the pike. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see what comes up. I may or may not have an interview lined up with people. I'm talking about schedules and things like that. I don't know when they'll go, but it'll be nice. I think we'll have a good time. In any case, I've been the Awkward GM. You can find me on YouTube at the Awkward GM Corbin. There are other things I should do before I sign out, which is check out the SPU backer kit. If you can, go to the Discord if you can. And additionally, if you want to check out the Onyx Path game night, check that out. It's the last Friday of every month. It's September, so maybe we'll see it. I believe that'll be last Friday is the 27th. And by the way, the Kickstarter for Storypath Ultra ends on the 26th of September, which means maybe in October 3rd, October 1st, or October 8th is the Curseborn Kickstarter, which I'm really hoping for. Okay, I've prattled on long enough. You can check me out at the Awkward GM Corbin at YouTube, where I just did a Curseborn video, the Ashcan actual play. Check it out if you're interested. Thank you so much. Bye.